Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special edition of the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. This is the CONCACAF Gold Cup USA postgame show. As the United States, they are battling, and they did battle, I should say, Trinidad and Tobago, and they win the match by a final of 5-0. First things first, I was just learning of today Dwight York, former Manchester United striker, legend of Manchester United. Of course, they are also a former Trinidad and Tobago international, is now the head coach of the national team in Trinidad. So congratulations to him. Hopefully he does well taking over the Soca Warriors, his country's team, and we'll see what happens down the road. And hopefully he'll definitely will show us maybe Trinidad has improved. But for now, they fall. And if you excuse me for just a moment here, I fix myself here a little bit, and I add a little light to this victory. Yes, I've added a little light to this victory because it was a 5-0 destruction against the Soca Warriors, against Trinidad and Tobago. And, look, if some of you felt that maybe this was the game that Trinidad and Tobago was going to take advantage of the U.S. men's national team because of the players that are currently on this roster, and maybe you felt, they're going to take advantage. Not so. And while there are players on this national team of Trinidad and Tobago that do play in MLS, they do play in Europe, they play in USL, whether it be Championship or League One, former players that have played in MLS that are currently in the local Trinidadian leagues. I will have to say this. I'm going to have to say this. Again, no match for this talented squad. Now, individually talented, yes. As a collective, that is still a bit to be desired. And I will say this, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm not being negative about it. It's just that you could see at times in this match, they need to play with each other a lot more. And that is without Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Ricardo Pepe, without Serginho Dest. Tyler Adams, who's on this Gold Cup roster, is with an injury. So far, you have Chris Richards. No Gio Reyna, because, he needs his minutes. But to be honest, it's not that bad. Individually, it's good. But collectively, they're not there yet. And if it's going to need these 3 group stage games to put them on the right track, well, then so be it. But from what I've seen so far in this match, it was tremendous. It was awesome. And I really felt happy for some of the players. Now, could they have taken some of their chances a lot better? Absolutely. Once again, I'm not throwing the hammer down here. We have to admit that there are some issues on this team currently, and that is because the truth is these players only played together, or somewhat of togetherness, during the January camp. And a few here and there was a part of the Nations League semis and final back in March. But to be honest, it's not bad. Can it be better? Absolutely. Should it be better? Well, if it would be a lot better, we would have Pulisic and McKennie and, some of these other players who are unfortunately currently injured. But as of right now, this is what we have. And all I can tell you is this, is that this team right now has done some good things. They still need to work on a lot more. But give Mauricio Pochettino credit. If you want to say he's turning lemons or turning lemons into lemonade, then you know what? So far, so good. And when they scored that first goal and you saw the shot of him, shaking his fist in celebration while still sitting on the bench, I know what he's thinking. I know what he's lamenting. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. I wish I had my top guys here, but they decided to take a vacation. Oh, well. So you know what? So far, it looked good. I'm not saying it looked great. I'm not saying it was fantastic. I'm not saying these players should replace everyone else who would normally be called up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, while they did good work, they need more to improve. They need more to grow. They need this Gold Cup to force out some bad apples that I believe no longer deserves to be on the roster of this world for the World Cup next summer. Now, I will hold off on that opinion until this upcoming Wednesday morning. Now, I'm going to have a special Wednesday morning show with Jason Longshore of Atlanta United. He'll be available for that time to talk about Atlanta United. And then afterwards, I will give my thoughts then. Today, right now, as of right now, I'm talking about this match as the United States defeats Trinidad Tobago by a final of 5-0. And let's talk about some of these players that made it 5-0. Let's talk about Diego Luna, Patrick Agimong, Jack McGlynn, someone who came off as a substitute, I should say came on as a substitute, Brendan Aronson. Another one who came on as a substitute, Haji Wright. All I can say is this, folks. These 5 players, I believe, should be on the World Cup squad, especially Diego Luna. Diego Luna, in my opinion, is an X factor that was missing during the Summer Olympic Parisian Games. If that head coach, who was a fool to not allow him to be on the roster for the Olympics and said you can be an alternate, you just have to wait your turn. U.S. soccer, once again, buffoonery. Silliness, ridiculousness. That should never have happened in the first place. Did you see what he did on that second goal? How he read the play, he knew it was a pass back, and he intercepted the pass back, got a free chance, found Malik Tillman for the goal, for the number 2 of the match, and Tillman's second of the match. That was fantastic. And Jack McGlynn from the near side, what a cross to Tillman, who settled it, bunted it in, side foot on the short side, inside the far post, made it 1-0 at the time. Just fantastic. And as we go ahead and talk more about this match, here you go, folks, as we get ready. I never disappoint you with the graphics, that's for sure. So look at that. Look at that. 5-0. 5-0. And, unfortunately for Luna, he didn't get his goal on the 3-0. Agimong was shall we say, unfortunately for Luna, Agimong was at the wrong place at the wrong time, even though you want to say he's at the right place at the right time, but deflected that ball under the legs of the defender, and an easy technically an easy tap in for Ajimon because he just stood there and took the deflection off of his legs and into the back of the net where Philip just could not get to it because he wasn't expecting the ball to be deflected. And so 3-0 at halftime. And then, of course, we already talked about Brendan Aronson, how he scored his goal, Haji Wright, how he scored his goal. Brendan Aronson along the near side of the pitch, finding a way to just go and bring down the entire Trinidad and Tobago team and went short side himself, even though it was slightly deflected by Philip. The ball still went to the back of the net in the 82nd minute to make it 4-0. And then Haji Wright, nice pass from Arfston down the near side, along this near side touchline, cut inside the area, and then just bent it low and inside the far post to make it 5-0. That was fantastic. And as I've said already, this match is not about how great they were. They were good. They did good things. Individually, Diego Luna was great. Individually, Jack McGlynn was great. Brendan Aronson was great. Haji Wright was great. Matt Freese, he didn't do much, but when he had to make a save, he did. Made 2 strong saves. And while he is the future for the national team in goal, Matt Freese, he is the future of the national team in goal. We have to say right away, we just have to say right away that maybe he could be the 3rd goalkeeper for the World Cup team next summer. We'll see what happens on that. It all depends about what Matt Turner does over at Lyon in France in Ligue 1. We'll see what Zach Steffen can do when he returns from his injury. We will see, who knows, maybe Chris Brady might take that 3rd goalkeeper spot. Maybe Patrick Schulte will take that 3rd goalkeeper spot. There's still plenty of time. To assess the roster for the World Cup. So we'll wait and see what happens. But until then, right now we have the CONCACAF Gold Cup. It was just fantastic. It was so brilliant. I really enjoyed watching that match. I really did. I enjoyed that match. I had fun with that match. I really thought they did some good things. And once again, they did some not good things. But are they correctable? I believe so. I believe it is correctable. I believe they're able to go out and fix it. Do not take Saudi Arabia lightly. They are a good team. They're managed very well. You saw what they did to Argentina in the first group stage match in the World Cup in Qatar 3 years ago. That is a national team you really can't sleep on. And I understand they are a guest team, even though I'm not happy we have guest teams back in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and it's only 1 instead of 2. But all I can say is that for the U.S., this is a good start. They still have some things to work on, but right now it's a good start. It's not going to be easy against Saudi Arabia, as I said. It's not going to be easy against Haiti, but we'll see what happens down the road in this CONCACAF Gold Cup group stage. And then we'll see who they'll play against in the quarterfinals. But one thing is for sure. This is going to be difficult. It's going to be more difficult than any of us can imagine. And Pochettino right now has some things to take care of. But until then, we'll have to wait and see what will happen. We'll see if he'll continue to use Matt Freese to start the second match against Saudi Arabia, or will he use Matt Turner? Now, I will say this. I would rather have Chris Brady play one of these games, depending on what happens against Saudi Arabia, I would rather have either Matt Freese or Chris Brady. I don't want Matt Turner. Until Matt Turner gets to Leon, I don't want him starting. I'm sorry. I don't. And it's not that I don't trust Matt Turner. It's just the lack of, well, I shouldn't say the lack of, barely any minutes playing on loan for Crystal Palace, even though he was under contract with Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. He has not played. And he may have an FA Cup winner's medal, but he was not the starting goalkeeper for Crystal Palace. So all I can say is I would rather keep Matt Turner on the bench as the third goalkeeper and let the other two continue on. I'd rather have Matt Freese have the second game against Saudi Arabia. And if you don't need the third match that badly against Haiti, then you'll probably, or if you're going to win the group, fine, you put in Chris Brady, you see what he can do. But if not, just let Matt Freese have it all the way. Keep Matt Turner on the bench. I like Matt. I think he's a good man. I think he's a good guy. His lack of minutes, I shouldn't say lack of, barely any minutes played in goal has severely handcuffed him. Here's some stats for you. I have them written down. The more important stats: possession of the ball, 70.4% for the U.S., 29.6% for Trinidad and Tobago. Corners, 10-4 in favor of the U.S. Shots, 21-3 in favor of the U.S. Shots on goal, 11-2 in favor of the U.S. Accuracy, Trinidad gets the advantage, 66.7%, while the USA has 52.4%. But once again, the most important stat is the scoreboard. The United States, 5. Trinidad and Tobago, 0. Probably should have been more. But once again, the lack of finishing, even though they got 5, 3 from the starters in the first half, 2 from the substitutes in the second half late in the match. This one, to me, folks, as I said, good performance. Happy to see that performance. But it can be better. And under Pochettino, I believe it will be better. But until we get there, we'll have to wait and see. But until then, all I can tell you is this. It's a good start. It's a good start for the U.S. men's national team. Really, I would say a B to C squad right now. And I'll bring up the graphic for you. There it is. Malik Tillman, 15th minute, makes it 1-0, gets his brace in the 41st minute to make it 2-0. Third goal, second in 2 minutes. Patrick Ajimang acts like a statue, lets the ball hit his legs and deflects right under the defender and into the back of the net, 3-0. Brendan Aronson, late in the second half, made it 4-0 in the 82nd minute. And then Haji Wright makes it 5-0 in the 84th minute. Another 2 goals within 2 minutes of each other as the USA defeats Trinidad and Tobago by a final of 5-0. So join me next time, ladies and gentlemen, this coming Wednesday, as the U.S. men's national team will be taking on, I shouldn't say Wednesday, I should say regular 418's Fire American Soccer Show, I should say, Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You can also catch me live on YouTube. And you can watch it again on YouTube. Thursday night will be another post-match show as the U.S. men's national team will take on Saudi Arabia. But once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. As always, please enjoy your football. Once again, the U.S. men's national team defeats Trinidad and Tobago by a final of 5-0, a brace by Malik Tillman, Patrick Ajimang, Brendan Aronson, and Haji Wright. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. Take care. So long and bye-bye for now. Have a good night, everybody. And before I forget, to all the soccer dads out there and to every single father, grandfather out there, even an uncle, happy Father's Day. I hope you guys had a great day and you capped it off with this 6-0 victory by the U.S. men's national team. Have a good night. Take care. So long and bye-bye for now. Have a good night, everybody. See you Wednesday morning.